Before GPS systems and modern electronics took over, tractor makers still found ways to push insane levels of power into their machines. These weren't just farm tools. They were feats of engineering designed to conquer massive fields and pull loads that smaller tractors couldn't dream of. Today, we're counting down the 10 most powerful old tractors ever built, machines that redefined farming in their time. From early four-wheel drive giants to V8 diesel monsters, these tractors showed the world just how far horsepower could go. Stick around until number one, because it's a tractor so massive it held the world record for decades and remains an icon of power to this day. Number 10, John Deere 8020, 1960s. In 1960, John Deere unveiled the 8020, its very first articulated four-wheel drive tractor. It came equipped with a Detroit diesel six-cylinder engine, pushing out an incredible 215 horsepower, an enormous leap forward at the time. To put it into perspective, most farm tractors in that era were still working in the 40 to 80 horsepower range. Deere only produced about 100 units of the 8020, partly because the design was so ahead of its time that many farmers weren't ready for it. Today, those surviving machines are considered rare collectibles, with restored models fetching huge sums at auctions. The 8020 proved that John Deere could compete in the heavy-duty tractor market and paved the way for the big articulated tractors that came later. Number 9, International Harvester 1256, 1967 to 1971. By the late 1960s, International Harvester was locked in a fierce horsepower race with John Deere. Their answer was the Farmall 1256, a powerful tractor that introduced a turbocharged diesel engine producing 113 horsepower. While that number may seem small compared to modern standards, in its time the 1256 was a beast. It could pull implements that older tractors simply couldn't handle. Farmers praised its raw pulling power and reliability, and it quickly became a workhorse across the Midwest. Even today, collectors and restorers look back at the 1256 with respect, as it represented IH's commitment to giving farmers more strength without sacrificing durability. Number 8, Massey Ferguson 1155, 1970s. When the Massey Ferguson 1155 rolled out in the 1970s, it stood out with its Perkins 8-cylinder diesel engine, delivering between 140 and 150 horsepower. It was one of the first Masseys to bring true big horsepower muscle to family farms. Farmers loved the raw strength it offered. This was a machine that could make tough jobs look easy. However, that power came at a price. The massive torque often caused the rear tires to fail under stress, leading to dangerous blowouts that made the 1155 a controversial model. Despite its flaws, the 1155 became iconic among Massey fans, and its aggressive design and roaring V8 sound still make it a favorite at vintage tractor shows today. Number 7, Allis-Chalmers 8550 Bearcat, 1977 to 1981. By the late 1970s, Allis-Chalmers decided to take the horsepower race to another level with the 8550, better known by its nickname, the Bearcat. This machine was a giant in every sense of the word, powered by a 350 horsepower V8 diesel engine. At the time, it ranked among the largest and most powerful tractors available on the market. Its size and strength made it ideal for massive tillage operations on large American farms. The 8550 represented Allis-Chalmers' bold attempt to dominate the high horsepower market, and while it wasn't produced in huge numbers, it left a lasting impression as one of the most ambitious tractors of its era. Farmers who owned one still remember the Bearcat as a symbol of brute force in farming. Number 6, Case IH Steiger ST310, 1970s to 80s. In the 1970s, Steiger was already known for building some of the toughest four-wheel drive tractors in the world. When Case IH partnered with Steiger, the result was the ST310, a 310 horsepower workhorse built for the vast wheat fields of North America. With its massive Cummins engine and articulated frame, the ST310 could pull implements that no conventional tractor could touch. Farmers loved its ability to cover huge acreages quickly, and it became a common sight on big operations across the Midwest and Canadian prairies. For many, the ST310 symbolized the shift toward high horsepower, four-wheel drive farming, tractors that weren't just bigger, but purpose-built for industrial-scale agriculture. Number 5. Ford FW60, late 1970s. In the late 70s, Ford decided to step into the heavy tractor game, and the FW60 was their flagship. Built in partnership with Steiger, this beast pumped out around 300 horsepower, making it one of the most powerful tractors Ford ever put its name on. Unlike Ford's smaller blue tractors, the FW60 was a giant, designed to work on enormous farms where size and pulling power mattered more than maneuverability. It gave Ford a foothold in the big tractor market, and while it never outsold Deere or IH in volume, the FW60 remains a symbol of Ford's bold attempt to compete in the world of supersized farm machinery. Number 4. Versatile 1150, 1977 to 1981. Versatile, a Canadian company, made a name for itself by building tractors that delivered big horsepower at relatively affordable prices. Their 1150 model was one of the boldest of the 1970s. Powered by a Cummins KTA 1150 diesel engine, it cranked out an astonishing 470 horsepower. At the time, this was mind-blowing. The versatile 1150 could pull massive equipment and handle the toughest tillage with ease. Farmers who needed brute force but didn't want to pay for a one-off custom tractor turned to Versatile. Today, the 1150 is remembered as one of the great high-horsepower classics, and its sheer size still impresses anyone lucky enough to see one in action. Number 3. Case Steiger, KP525, 1980s. By the 1980s, the horsepower wars were in full swing, and Case Steiger pushed the envelope with the KP525. As its name suggests, this monster delivered an eye-watering 525 horsepower, more than 5 times the power of an average tractor just a few decades earlier. Built for massive operations in the US and Canada, the KP525 was designed to pull the heaviest implements across thousands of acres. For farmers with the land and budget to afford it, the KP525 was a dream machine. It showed how far tractor engineering had come in just 20 years, and it cemented Casey Steiger as one of the undisputed leaders in the high-horsepower market. Number 2. Big Roy 8WD 1977. If there's one tractor that turns heads every time it's mentioned, it's Big Roy. Built by Versatile in Canada in 1977, this one-off prototype was unlike anything seen before. It was an 8-wheel drive giant producing 600 horsepower, designed to show what Canadian engineering could achieve. Measuring nearly 30 feet long, Big Roy was so large that operators often needed spotters just to maneuver it. Unfortunately, only one was ever built, and while it never went into mass production, it became a legend in the farming world. Today, Big Roy is preserved at the Manitoba Agricultural Museum, where it still draws crowds of tractor enthusiasts who can't believe just how massive it is. Number 1. Big Bud 747, 1977. And finally, at number 1, we have the king of them all, the Big Bud 747. Built in Montana in 1977, this machine remains the largest farm tractor ever built, and it held the world record for decades. Powered by a Detroit diesel engine pumping out a jaw-dropping 1,100 horsepower, the 747 was built for a single purpose: to work the vast wheat fields of North America. Standing 14 feet tall and weighing over 100,000 pounds, it was in a class of its own. For years, it worked on massive farms in Montana and later in Florida before finally being retired to a museum. Even today, nothing comes close to the sheer scale of the Big Bud 747. It remains not just a tractor, but a legend. Proof that sometimes bigger really is better. From Deere's first articulated four-wheel drive to Versatile's prototypes and the mighty Big Bud 747, these tractors prove that farmers have always pushed for more horsepower, even long before the computer age. These machines weren't just tools. They were engineering marvels that changed the way agriculture was done. Which one of these old-school giants would you love to drive for a day? Drop your pick in the comments and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more incredible tractor stories every week.